Welcome to Enchanting Journey into the heart of Nouvelle-Aquitaine, where history intertwines with timeless beauty. Today, we open the doors to the Brede Castle, then invite you to wander through the enchanting streets of Saint-Macaire, and finally, immerse ourselves in the magic of the Saint-Émilion village, a place where time seems suspended among the vineyards. Get comfortable. Your journey into history begins now. Located away from the village of La Brede, near Bordeaux, the castle has stood at the center of the estate since the 13th century. It's classified as a historical monument and extends over 150 hectares. It was the property of Charles Louis de II, born on January 18, 1689. This name may not ring a bell, and yet it's one of the most well-known French writers and philosophers worldwide, under the name of Montesquieu. The castle has until 2004 always been passed down through marriage. The vestibule of the castle dates back to the 19th century, as evidenced by the painted fleur-de-lis on the ceiling. In the main hall, you can find portraits of the different owners of the castle throughout the ages. On the main beams, there are 4 Latin inscriptions to highlight the owner's culture to the visitors. We then discover Montesquieu's bedroom, preserved in its 18th century state. There are also the trunks that served him during his travels. Right next to his room is the bedroom of his assistant. Indeed, as Montesquieu's eyesight deteriorated with age, he could no longer write himself and therefore surrounded himself with assistants to help him. Upstairs, there is a series of 4 guest rooms. He was a French noble of the 18th century, and his family belonged to the nobility of the robe, a social class that acquired nobility through services rendered to the state, often through the purchase of judicial offices. In 1716, upon the death of his uncle, he inherited his fortune, the barony of Montesquieu, and the position of president in the parliament. This is when he became Monsieur de Montesquieu. This name is linked to a property that the family acquired in 1686 near the town of Montesquieu. We now discover the library. All the books have been transferred to the municipal library of Bordeaux. As for Montesquieu's manuscripts, once kept at La Brede, they were sold in 1939 at the Drouot Hotel auction house. Having studied law, the daily practice weighed on him and he abandoned it in 1726. He devoted himself more willingly to letters and sciences, notably within the Royal Academy of Bordeaux. In the Persian letters, which he anonymously published in 1721 in Amsterdam, depicting Persians discovering Paris, he created a satirical portrayal of France at the end of the reign of Louis XIV and during the Regency. This essay was a huge success. He then traveled through Europe for 3 years, exploring political and economic systems, customs, religion, culture, and geography of the countries he traversed, but also, perhaps above all, to become a diplomat. After an 18-month stay in England, he returned to Bordeaux in 1731. He resided at the Brede castle and at the place of his brother, who was the dean of the Basilica of Saint-Seurin in Bordeaux, while making regular trips to Paris. A precursor of sociology, French philosopher and writer, Montesquieu is one of the great political thinkers of the Enlightenment. From the library, one can observe the magnificent avenue of the exterior garden. Montesquieu drew inspiration from Desailliers d'Argenville's book, La théorie et la pratique du jardinage, which he purchased in 1722. Thus, he created a formal garden with flower beds and groves. When he returned from England, he developed an English garden in the remaining part of the park. He also undertook major sanitation works around the castle to improve the cultivation of his lands. At the end of the garden, there are walkways consisting of a large number of pathways. Behind the castle, we also discover an impressive sundial dating back to the 18th century. There is also a farm that Montesquieu has built for his cattle breeding. The Brede Castle is a building that is difficult to date. The earliest mentions of a Lord of La Brède are intertwined with a fable recounting the 1079 duel between the Lord of La Lande, Lord de La Brède, and the champion of the army of Navarre. In 1283, the castle was most likely destroyed following an attack. Its reconstruction dates back to 1285. This is the first dated document mentioning the Brede Castle. Montesquieu didn't modify the castle, but only its gardens. It remained in the possession of his descendants until 2004, the year when Countess Jacqueline de Chabannes, the last descendant of Denise de Secondat, the youngest daughter of the writer, passed away. After this journey through time, we head toward the medieval city of Saint-Macaire. Arriving, we discover a town nestled in the heart of Gironde, revealing an exceptional heritage that captivates history enthusiasts and lovers of authentic charm. The narrow streets lined with ancient houses transport us through the edges, offering a unique experience at the heart of history. Heading toward the city center, one notices the arcaded square of Mercadieu, an architectural gem surrounded by medieval houses of timeless beauty. This square a living witness to the rich history of Saint-Macaire, houses Renaissance residences, adorned with mullioned windows that add an elegant touch to this iconic place. Among the remarkable buildings, the former post relay of Henry IV stands out with its magnificent facade, inviting visitors on a journey through time. But Saint-Macaire's reputation extends beyond its iconic square. Visiting the Saint Saviour and Saint Martin Church reveals a true medieval treasure, attracting enthusiasts of sacred art. Within its walls, the murals of the 14th and 15th centuries marvel, illustrating the Apocalypse and the life of Saint John, adding a spiritual and artistic dimension to this historically rich church. Right next to the church is the Saint Benedictine Priory of Saint-Sauveur and an impressive vestige of the region's monastic past. The survival of the south wing and its Romanesque cloister colonnade recalls the importance of this building in the religious and cultural life of Saint-Macaire. To extend this immersion in the past, one can explore other hidden treasures of the medieval city. The narrow alleys hold many surprises with authentic shops, preserved in a courtyard, and facades steeped in history. We conclude our visit with the feeling of having discovered a truly preserved medieval gem. Moreover, there is a game for children, making it a thoroughly enjoyable family visit. We now arrive in Saint-Émilion, a renowned wine village located in the Bordeaux region. Its name is closely tied to the world of wine, making it one of the highly sought-after destinations for wine enthusiasts worldwide. The connection between Saint-Émilion, the village, and wine is deeply rooted in the history, geography, and culture of the region. We discover an enchanting village nestled in the heart of the vineyards, with a medieval atmosphere and rich heritage. The cobbled streets, surrounded by well-preserved stone facades, invite immediate immersion into the history of winemaking tradition of the region. Numerous remnants from the Great Romanesque era can be found here. The Roy Tower is the only intact Romanesque monument kept in Gironde region. At its base is the Roy Fountain, the largest of the two wash houses from the village. Covered, it served as a designated area for washerwomen from affluent neighborhoods, providing them shelter in case of inclement weather. we stroll through its peaceful gardens and appreciate the preserved architecture of this historically rich site. There is no known structure called the town hall in Saint-Émilion, and yet, in the 13th century, it was the second city in the Bordeaux region. This is why it's highly likely that this tower served that function. The Druids still uses this tower today. Druids gather at the top of the tower to proclaim the judgment of the new wine in June and the ban des vendanges in September.
The wolves are hungry, going on a hunt.
For those who are wondering who the Druids are, in some cities, especially in the southwest of France, Spain, or the Anglo-Norman islands, they are sworn municipal magistrates. Behind the tower, in the middle of the vineyards, we can see the remnants of the Ursuline convent. The legend has it that one of the sisters, Miss Boutin, living in poverty since the Revolution, offered to reveal the secret recipe of the Ursuline sisters in exchange for shelter and a meal. A recipe that quickly became the specialty of the village of Saint-Emilion, namely a delicious soft, round cake known as a macaron.
Nothing's gifting, bear no fruit, enjoy the way.
Heading towards the village center, we discover a lively and charming square, offering a breathtaking view of the monolithic church carved into the limestone rock in the 12th century by Benedictine monks, a testament to the architectural ingenuity of the medieval period. This church is one of the symbols of Saint-Émilion. It's one of the few churches in France that is troglodytic.
It all started with a wink, and unassuming.
Dating back to the 12th century, the church was carved directly into the rock. Its bell tower is 68 meters high and can be visited, providing an awesome view of the town of Saint-Emilion.
Only lived mere miles apart, more like a second chance away. We had both loved and lost, and we'd both been on first dates, but this one was different. And now I say, I saw a fire.
Just across is a collegiate church dedicated to the hermit monk of the same name. It's the most imposing church in the upper town.
I saw fireworks.
It belonged to a religious community of canons, which was established there from the 12th to the 18th centuries, ensuring the smooth functioning of religious life in Saint-Émilion, hence the importance of the church. Its cloister is in a way the central element of the building. It houses the work The Apocalypse by François Pelletier, depicting the saint's story and the evolution of faith over the centuries. It's a collection of paintings forming a whole 38 meters long and 5 meters high. From the church tower, the panoramic view of the surrounding vineyards is incredible.
This time we're different, so now we say, I saw fireworks that day.
The Cordelier Cloister is located in the heart of the medieval city and is one of the most iconic picturesque sites in the village alongside the monolithic church.
For the second time.
The name Cordelier comes from their original occupants, the Cordelier brothers, who were Franciscan friars. This name was given to them by Jean de Beaufort during the Seventh Crusade due to their clothing made of fig brown or grey cloth and a rope belt. The convent was completely plundered in 1337 during clashes between lords. Living in constant risk of a new attack, the Cordeliers requested to settle within the walls of Saint-Émilion. They were allowed to do so in 1338, the year they began building the intramural chapel. In 1343, the Pope granted them the right to establish their convent in the city. The cloister and part of the convent were then built. Later, the Cordeliers transformed the chapel into a church, which is now a modern shop. The single-nave church provides access to cellars carved into the limestone rock at 17 meters depth. During the French Revolution, the last present monks were expelled. Today, we can see the remaining buildings trapped within the walls. In the back, we can still imagine the convent garden with its vegetables and medicinal plants, now replaced by chairs and tables, inviting us to have a drink. It's built in a Romanesque architecture that coexists with the old chapel and the Gothic-style church. We continue our visit towards the remnants of the ramparts and the Brede door. The ramparts of Saint-Emilion are said to have been commissioned by England in the 12th century to protect the prosperous village. This fortification wall can also be considered a decorative, prestigious wall whose primary purpose may have been to showcase the village's power rather than to protect it. The enclosing wall encompassed more than 18 hectares. To extend the experience, one can explore the surrounding vineyards and taste the famous wines of Saint-Emilion. The wine estates open their doors to visitors, providing a unique opportunity to understand the winemaking process and several exceptional vintages. A visit to Saint-Emilion transports visitors to a world where history, culture, and viticulture harmoniously intertwine. Our day is coming to an end, and we must admit that our journey has turned out to be an exploration rich in discoveries. From the intellectual cradle of Montesquieu to the well-preserved medieval city of Saint-Macaire to the iconic wine village of Saint-Emilion, each step has been a tableau frozen in history. These places, far from being mere witnesses of the past, are guardians of our heritage, where every stone tells a story and time seems suspended. See you soon for new discoveries.